So, I'm in my daughter's room because it's the only place with a physical calendar, and I figured that would be the best way to demonstrate how lazy I've been lately. So, listen. So back in January, signed up for a race. So, got January here. So back in January, I signed up for a race because, new year, new goals. 2020 was going to be my year that I was going to run a half marathon because 2019 I ran a 5 miler. So I figured I'd up the ante with a half marathon. So January, I signed up for the half marathon. February comes and goes. March was supposed to be the day of the race. March 28th to be exact, the day of the half marathon. But around this week in March, the whole world turns upside down. It gets shut down because of Corona. So then March turns to April, which turns to May, which turns to June, which turns to July, which turns to August, which turns to September, and I really haven't been training for that race. Actually, I haven't been training at all for that race. So, I decided to talk to one of my fraternity brothers, Marathon Mar, big runner, and I just want to see how he was able to go from not running, like when I met him, to how he's able to run in marathons and half marathons. I see him on Strava just putting in that work. So I just want to pick his brain about how he's able to do that, because that's what I need to do.
I had no intentions of ever running a race. I actually didn't even know about these races. And then when I did think about a race, I always thought about either like the Olympics or, like those professionals that are like really out running races for real. I didn't even know they had like regular people just out running. But again, Lonnie got me into it. So he's like, hey man, let's do this half marathon. That was the first race I ever did. And I was like, when I first started, like I said, on that track, I couldn't even run around one loop around the track once. I could run the straight and then I had to walk the curve. That's how bad I was. I was just that bad. I couldn't even go around one time. So maybe like a month of just practicing, finally being able to finally jog one time around. It was like sometime in like middle of July of that year. He's like, hey, let's do this half marathon in September. I was like, I didn't even know how long it was. I didn't know how many miles it was or anything.
From July to September. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I was just like nervous. I was like, so I was like 13 miles is crazy. But I just kept at it. And I say all that to say, in the beginning, it was all about training toward a race. Like that's all I did. I would train toward a race. And then after the race, I'd stop. I'd stop for like a month or two, or I'm like, oh, okay, well, so a lot of times brothers would be like, well, always sign up for the next race further out in advance. That'll keep you motivated. It'll keep you motivated no matter what. And I kind of, at first I was like, if it's 6 months out, I can start training in 3 months and all that. But by me doing that, I noticed my weight started boomeranging. Like I would lose a lot. Like at one point I had lost, when I got up to about 270, I got down to about 210. That's like the lowest I'd ever gotten. I lost like 60 pounds. But then my weight started boomeranging. And I would slow down over the winter time because I was like, oh, it's cold out there. I'm not doing it.
Yep.
And then my weight would boomerang back up. And then like around March or mid-March, I start running again and come back down. So I did that for maybe 2 or 3 years of just up and down, up and down. And then one time I was like, I'm so tired of starting over. I was like, I got to figure something else out. And at that point, I was like, all right, regardless of if there's a race or not, I at least wanted to maintain a certain level of fitness that I might not necessarily have to go out and do 10 miles, 15, but as long as I'm doing 2 miles, 3 miles, and that could be it. And I don't have to wait for the race. It's just that I don't want to just go back I don't want to go back to ground zero because I'm getting ready to train for a race. I want to at least hit the ground running because I just noticed, and maybe it's because I'm getting older, obviously, that it gets that much harder to stop and start. So I've just found over time that instead of saying I'm training for a race, I just say I'm training for life. So now it's like I don't necessarily need a race because the saying is, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
So that's what I go by.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard. It's mental. It's mental. You know, it's more mental than it is physical. Because like I said, you don't have to go out and do a lot of miles all the time. You just do. You just say I'm gonna do 30 minutes, and whatever I get in 30 minutes, it's fine.
Jamar, I just want to thank you for taking the time to sit down with me, giving me some advice. It took me about 5 months, but finally got it. And if you're out there, you're listening and you're watching, and you're finding yourself unmotivated to really get out there, to go about, hit your goals, just start with something. If you take anything from this, just start somewhere. As Jamar said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So don't just prepare for the next race. Don't just prepare for what you know is around the corner. Prepare for life. Till the next one. Cheers.